Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Are Finally Podcast, Episode 2, coming back at you at Halloween night, actually. It's been a non-eventful Halloween for me, actually. I ate some candy, and that was about it. I didn't dress up. So, anyways, I'm here with Zach. Hi, Zach.
Hi, I'm here again.
And, did you do anything fun for Halloween?
I worked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay! Happy Halloween, everyone! The harsh adult's reality of Halloween.
Yeah.
Um,
Someone at my job wore cat ears.
oh, yay!
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Um, I I started a new job recently, so I didn't work today because we're not open on weekends, but like I was exhausted enough from working on Friday that like I pretty much did nothing the first half of today. And then like trick or treat happened and it's like, oh, I watched the little kids and taking candy and whatnot, and then I ate a bunch of leftover candy and now I'm here. So, yeah, that's been it's been fun stuff. Um I guess how this is gonna work is we're just gonna real quickly talk about the stuff we've been playing in the I want to say like three week gap that occurred since we last recorded. And the answer for me at least is not much, at least not much that I can think of. I I recently uninstalled Final Fantasy Type Zero from Steam after giving that game so many chances to impress me.
Aw.
Yeah, actually, I got about 1 hour into the Steam version, which doesn't sound like much, but the reason for that is because I actually found the fan translation of the PSP version more entertaining to play, because I honestly don't think that HD port was done very well. It's really weird because, and I don't know, maybe, Zach, you've played it, right?
No, I've bought it and I have not put it into my PS4 since I bought it.
Okay. The game has this really weird problem that really doesn't, I can't feel it in the PSP version at least, but in the HD version, um, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like the camera feels too loose, but your movement feels too tight. And it's really bizarre, but it doesn't feel very good. And then the actual combat itself did not really impress me. It felt like more of the same, forced Square Enix action RPG. Uh, this game isn't turn-based because turn-based doesn't sell, so we're gonna just kind of try making not Kingdom Hearts. It doesn't
Despite
really
the fact
play.
that Bravely Default sold very well.
Yeah, which, um, no, yeah, but actually we talked about that a little bit. I think the first episode, so I don't want to get on it too much. But yeah, it's like another action RPG thing, and I it doesn't play well enough. You have a bunch of different characters, which and each of them have different move sets and play differently, which is nice. That the problem with that though is that like there are some characters that just feel terrible to play. Like there's this one girl who has like a sword whip thing, and it feels not great to hit enemies with that. So that's unfortunate. But no, I actually did enjoy playing the PSP version more just because I feel like it works better on a smaller screen and like as a handheld type game without like it trying to pretend that it's a console game. But even then, like I just couldn't get invested into the story or what was happening or anything. So yeah, I feel like it's a better game than what we've been getting recently from Final Fantasy, but at the same time, it didn't like win me over because I know a lot of people actually like Type Zero a lot. I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh yeah, it saved Final Fantasy and all that," but like, I feel like it's an improvement. At least I like it more than the other stuff, but like, it's still not fully there for me. So hopefully 15 is good. But yeah, I uninstalled it from Steam, which was actually like a really big relief for me because fuck, that's like 25 gigs. Ooh, I'm on a laptop too, so yeah, that was a lot of space I needed. So
Just to confirm, did you try it after the patch was released?
yes, I did, and actually that patch I think did help out at least from what I saw. So
Okay. Yeah, because I know a lot of people were complaining about like motion blur.
yeah, um, actually, oh no, I think actually how that worked is that patch was part of the PC version that fixed the motion blur stuff. Because
Oh,
like actually it was funny because in the Steam page there was like a like in the features, like notes list or whatever, there was something they said something about motion blur, and it's like, wow, that is the most direct address of criticism I've seen ever. It was actually kind of funny. But no, the motion blur stuff didn't bother me because like you could toggle it and all that, and it was fine. So
Well, I still plan on getting to that game soon, so hopefully I enjoy it a bit more than you did, but we'll see.
yeah, I think it's definitely worth giving a shot if you're a Final Fantasy fan. It's like I wouldn't even like even though I didn't personally care for it, I wouldn't say it's a bad game. It's just one that like didn't really click with me. Like I think it's at least an okay game, you know. I can see why other people really enjoy it. But just it wasn't my thing in the end. So that's unfortunate. But hey, other than that, actually, do we want to take turns, or should I just go off on my list of things I've played?
You can just go on with all of yours first.
Actually, one thing that I did play, and I'm actually pretty lucky with this because every time there's one of these like events where 3DS demo codes come out, I always somehow manage to find my way into grabbing one of those, even if I don't get an email from Nintendo. So I ended up getting a Triforce Heroes code, and that game has kind of passively interested me for a while now. I really enjoyed the Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures back in the day. I had a lot of fun with friends with that. So I didn't really know what to expect because it seemed like it was trying to be similar, but at the same time not the same thing. And actually, this is one of the few times I've played a demo for a game, and it kind of convinced me to stay away. So that's kind of depressing, I guess. But my problem didn't even come from the actual gameplay itself, because I actually there was like three areas in the demo, and unfortunately I only was able to play, well, actually I played through two of them fully, and then the third area that I hadn't played through fully, we got right to the boss before Nintendo shut the server down for maintenance or whatever, and it just kicked us out. So I was like, oh, thanks Nintendo. But the actual game itself is really fun. My problem came though that the online is just super unstable, and every single time you transition between areas, it kind of needs to load in and connect with the other people that you're playing with, and that time is very open for just disconnects. So sometimes you get through a really hard part of a dungeon, and then you warp to the next area, and then it's like, oh, error, and you just get kicked back to the lobby and have to rejoin a group. And that happened just enough to kind of ward me off from getting that for $40, which sucks because Nintendo never lowers the price. So hopefully that goes on sale one of these days because I want to definitely get that at one point. It's just really unfortunate that Nintendo Online isn't as good as its competitors, I guess. Um,
That's a shame too because I definitely have heard from people that when you're playing that game, you're gonna want to play it with other people. Like it's not even worth playing it by yourself.
yeah, the demo didn't even have single player, and I think in and of itself that's pretty telling.
Yeah, I actually I got the demo code as well, and I downloaded it and was like, oh, I can't play this by myself, so I can't play it at all.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, I think actually what kind of sucks is that from what I can, or at least from what I heard, the online is region locked, which that really sucks. That really sucks. Uh,
Yeah.
like, cause like not only is that less of a pool of players to play with, but it's like all of us online nerds have friends from all over the place, and it's like, I want to be able to play with people from all over, you know. So I could understand if just like public matchmaking was region locked just for better connections, but like the fact that you can't even like invite a friend who lives in a different region than you, I think sucks. Um, but hey, oh well. But yeah, if that game ever goes down to like $30, I'll probably pick it up because I had fun with it. It's just like the online was not stable enough, and I also know nobody with a 3DS that would be willing to get that game and play it with me. So it's not worth 40 for me personally, but if you have two other friends who would like pick it up with you and can play locally, I would definitely like grab it. It's a good time.
Yeah, I've never even got to play the Four Swords game just because I never had anyone around me that would play Zelda with me. So that's like a whole section of the series that I've never gotten to really experience.
Yeah, for the original Four Swords is like an okay mini game type thing that it's fun for what it is. But Four Swords Adventures for GameCube was really damn good. The only problem again is like as a single player experience, it's entertaining but not great. But like back in the day when I was a dumb kid and I had all my dumb friends over and stuff, we had a lot of fun just going to town on that with all four people. Um, but yeah, no, but another game I've been playing recently. Actually, I finished this up and I wanted to record a review for it, but just given the nature of my thoughts on it, I thought it'd be better to maybe just talk about it here because it's. I don't know if I have enough to say to make a review. Um, but Life is Strange recently finished with its fifth episode, and that was a thing. I enjoyed it for what it was overall. Like, actually, I think it's probably one of my favorite, like not one of my top five games this year, maybe, but like definitely like top 10ish area. I really enjoyed the experience. Heavily flawed in some areas, but I think it's definitely worth playing through if you're interested in it. Uh, the fifth episode was kind of polarizing reception wise. I thought it was fine. I have some gripes with it. Like, there's a really weird trippy sequence towards like the end of the game that I feel like was kind of just being weird for the sake of being weird and kind of felt like it was going on for way too long and kind of felt padded out. But other than that, it was really enjoyable. Uh, Really odd thing with that game's writing where, God, I don't want to spoil too much, but the final decision that you make in the game decides which of two endings you get, and it kind of all comes down to how much you care about a certain character. And the decision was portrayed as something that was like a really tough decision to make, but because I didn't particularly care for the character involved, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this option. So I feel like the ending was kind of undermined because like, the story writers didn't sell me on that character as much as other people.
It sounds like they're definitely like banking on you liking the character.
Yeah, and that was kind of weird. Because like I could tell it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a really hard choice to make, but like I don't know. This is really petty actually, but there's a scene in the third episode of the game where it's not. This isn't too big of a spoiler, but there's a point where you break into the school at night, and the character suggests doing something that is so like stupidly like it's so stupidly like not evil but douchebaggy, and like it really hurt my opinion of the character. And I guess I never really let go of that moment, and up until the ending I'm like, I don't really like you anymore. So it was still really fun though, and it's not always about the ending, sometimes it's about the journey too. So yeah, it's if you can get over some really awkward teen dialogue for the first two episodes, episode three and onward is really great. So, yeah, Life is Strange was really fun. It's better than most Telltale things, I think. So, yeah,
That's what's really interesting to me about it because I enjoy the Telltale games, but I like the idea of this having like a gimmick to it that makes it different.
yeah, and I feel like the only Telltale experience I know is I had secondhand experience just watching someone play through Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. And I definitely feel like Life is Strange was better planned out. I think they had a better idea of where every episode was going to go, because like all of the choices have consequences. But I feel like they put a lot of care into making sure that the stuff that happens in the early episodes, like there's a nice mixture of like immediate consequence and some delayed consequence that doesn't come until like maybe one or two episodes later. Uh, and in that regard, I think that I don't know. I feel like with episodic games, there's this really easy pitfall of just like making it like, oh, all of your decisions from this one will affect the next episode that we haven't fully made yet. And that was definitely not the case with this one. In fact, actually, I do want to say, I almost forgot about this. I think this is the first game I've played where I actually really enjoyed that they went for an episodic style of release, because usually I don't really, I'm not a big fan of the episodic thing, but with this one I feel like with every single episode they listen to fan criticism of the previous episodes and tried their best to fix it for the next one. And I really appreciated that because not many other games like did that so far. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely plan on checking that out. So probably in a week or two, I'll play that as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's only $20, and I think that's a pretty good price for it. I got like a solid 15 hours out of it, and that's only one playthrough. You could probably replay it once or twice even. So, yeah, it's a solid game. Good adventure title, and it's definitely different. Like if you're sick and tired of like generic whatever releases with either like fantasy or sci-fi thematic stuff going on, like it's just a nice calm down teen drama thing that I had a lot of enjoyment out of, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much been it for me. What have you been playing, Zach?
I've been playing a lot of Zelda. Every once in a while, well, actually, generally around this time of year. Usually because they come out with a new Zelda game around this time of the year. But I've kind of been programmed to around November get like really in the mood for Zelda. So I played through Ocarina of Time 3DS again, and then I just picked up Majora's Mask 3DS. So I'm playing through that right now.
Have you been enjoying the 3DS remake of that so far?
I have been so far. I'm not too far into it, so I haven't seen like the really big changes that people complain about, but I've been pleasantly surprised by a lot of little changes.
I have a really weird thought. Like I actually like the 3DS version a lot more. The changes didn't bother me really, but the only change that bothered me is really weird to talk about because I feel like part of Majora's Mask's atmosphere came from the fact that it was like super shitty Nintendo 64 graphics. And like everything had that slightly foggy look to it because the draw distance was super shit. And like part of that is like gone now, and that kind of makes me sad, but at the same time it's like you can't just make a remake and make it look shitty on purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll be honest too. I think the moon kind of looks a bit sillier in the 3DS version.
It's the nose. Isn't
Yeah,
the nose
it's the
just looks
nose.
weird.
The nose looks weird, and I feel like the face is like too small. Maybe it's just looks kind of goofy. I
Yeah.
mean, it was always goofy, but I feel like it because it's better rendered, it looks goofier.
Yeah. It looks maybe like not the I almost called the moon too round, which sounds really fucking dumb. But the features of the moon feel too round, cause too in Majora's Mask original, like because it's once again Nintendo 64, like the nose in particular, and even like well the mouth was really just like a painted on texture, I guess. But like they kind of made that like part of the model more so in the 3DS version. So like it feels like it feels like it's really like flattened out and like round instead of having like a creepy look like jaggy look to it that the original did. And I think that might be part of it too.
Yeah, for sure. But I know they made changes to like the bosses too, and I'm probably gonna have mixed reactions to those. But I think overall it's okay that it's a bit different because I've played the N64 version so much that I'm all right with there being a lot of little changes.
Yeah, and also too, I feel like if you haven't played the original, I don't think people going into it now would even be able to really see what had changed, which is always a good thing.
Most of the changes that I found are stuff that I honestly feel like if you weren't super familiar with the game, you wouldn't even like, even if you've played it, you wouldn't catch it. Like the kids' locations and the hide and seek being different, stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Oh yeah, they moved those kids around.
Oh, actually, no. You know what? I did notice that with one of them, but like, because I remember I'm like, oh, time to run over here to see where the kid is, and I couldn't find him, and I'm like, oh, they must have messed that around or whatever. Uh,
I
actually,
think there's
like,
only like two. I think there's only like two in the same location.
yeah. Did you How do you like the Clock Town layout redesign?
Honestly, it's from a gameplay perspective, it's a lot better because things are more like things are more like where they're more convenient for you.
Yeah,
But I don't. I really. I don't see why a banker would be built into the clock tower. I feel
yeah,
like that made more sense in Western Clock Town from
yeah.
like a
Because it's like a
yeah
marketplace. Yeah, that
yeah
yeah. It's kind of weird. It's less running around, but yeah, it has its ups and downs, I guess.
It's super convenient, but maybe a little too convenient.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I don't know how bad this is going to be in Majora's Mask 3DS, but one of the things I hated in Ocarina of Time 3DS was that they added a lot more of the like, hey, we'll make it easier for you. You can go and get told exactly what to do. Also, maybe you should take a rest. Like, have you played Ocarina 3DS?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I
Oh
never.
my god. I would never imagine they would make like Navi more annoying than people already found her. But like, stop telling me to take a break. I'm an adult. I
So
can choose when to play video games.
I love it. I always hate when Nintendo stuff does that. No, but I got to the Shadow Temple in Ocarina 3D, and I actually I can't remember actually if I beat it or not. I feel I have recollection up to the Shadow Temple of that version, and then blank slate. So I don't know if I beat that or not. But yeah, I actually never thought about it, but I think Majora's Mask they did tone that way down. Because if I recall what they did, and actually you've probably noticed it, but that part in the beginning, after you turn into a human again, the happy mask salesman is talking to you, and it's like the scene is flowing well and all that, and then all of a sudden it's like, also if you need help, go and look in this little statue, and it's
Yeah.
this really really weird kind of immersion breaking thing where it's just like, okay, this is what you need to do on your adventure. Like, also if you need help, looking like it's like this weird aside that just kind of happens. Like,
It's so weird too because that breaks the immersion, and then he ends that like dialogue sheet with like, "Believe in your strengths."
yeah.
It's like, all right.
No, that's the only intrusive help thing that I've noticed so far, at least. Maybe it's because I'm just so used to it at this point that I
Yeah.
stopped. But because I'm like halfway through in that version myself. I've been kind of playing it ever since it came out on and off a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's I actually think I like it more than Ocarina 3D just because I feel like they put a little more bit more effort into it, which I appreciate.
I could definitely see that. They definitely like made a lot more changes.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were definitely trying to make it a more smoother experience because I know like I'm a huge fan of Majora's Mask, so to me it's like, oh man, you're changing things, please don't ruin it. But I do know there were a lot of people, especially when they were younger, that felt the game was too hard or like they were intimidated by it. So I get them wanting to try to make it a bit easier to get into.
Yeah, like that's the thing too is that when I was a kid, actually part of the reason I always loved Majora's Mask is I always loved the time stuff and doing all the side quests and whatnot. It wasn't until I grew up and like started talking to more people, but like yeah, that really stressed out so many people that to the point where
Yeah.
they just stopped playing. And I never knew about that because that was always like Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda. It's one of my, it's like actually yeah, it's in my top 5 favorite games of all time. Actually, like
Same here.
I love Majora's Mask that much, but like it never clicked with me that like the stress of having to do that was just too much for a lot of people. So it's like, yeah, I can understand why they kind of toned down on that for the latest re-release. And hopefully that worked. Hopefully people got to experience the rest of the game because of those changes.
I yeah, I mean I definitely saw a lot of people talking about playing it, so I think at least it people gave it more of a shot.
Yeah. I think the new Bomber's Notebook is really cool too.
Yeah, I well, that was actually super weird too that the mass salesman gives you that this time around.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. It's a little thing that bothers me that every time you meet a character, it like brings the notebook up to be like,
Yeah.
this is where the character is. This is the quest.
Yeah.
They did mention it in the N64 version, but it was just like text that was like, "Hey, this was added to your notebook if you want to check it out." But I feel like that's only going to be a problem in like the first hour or two of the game. Once I meet everyone, it'll probably tone down that a lot.
Yeah, and one thing actually that I was super nervous about, once again, actually going back to the help thing, when they said they were expanding the Bomber's Notebook, I was super fucking worried that it would be like, oh, maybe the blank 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 person would know about this dot dot dot, and like like just dumb it down, but it actually doesn't even hint at anything. It is a really brief description, and all it's really there for is to like help you remember where to go. Like it basically tells you everything that you already know, which is really great. It doesn't like like give you footsteps on where to go next. It still forces you to have to do that yourself. But like sometimes you stop playing a game for a month because whatever happens, and then you want to go back, and it's like, fuck, I don't remember how to get back to this point in the side quest, you know? So I really actually appreciate the changes they made to that, and oh god, I was so worried they fucked that up, but they didn't.
I
So
mean, especially on a portable too, because like I play my 3DS like in the same location I play my consoles, but a lot of people do just like I play my 3DS when I'm on the bus or something like that. So
yeah,
it's definitely better for people that like play in short bursts to get a reminder of where they are in that quest.
yeah. Man, 3DS is just a great Zelda machine, actually. I'm just thinking about it now. Like, you have the Oracle games, you have Link's Awakening DX, you have that free Four Swords remake that they had on there for a little while, Triforce Heroes now, and
I've got the original Legend of Zelda on mine too, just in case.
oh yeah, actually no, I do too because the Ambassador Program stuff. I have those. I
Oh
forgot.
yeah, I think some people might have Minish Cap on there too because of that.
Oh yeah, I do too. Then was that? Oh yeah, that was one of the 10. Jesus, I have so many Zelda games and like Link Between Worlds and jeez. All we need is Twilight Princess HD. Uh,
Oh man.
Everyone's been talking about a Twilight Princess HD recently, and I don't really know where that talk has been stemming from, but
There was like people on a website were like, "Hey, we found this like I think like code or not code, but like the title of it in like a an update, but people were questioning whether it was real or not."
huh.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it is, so I'm not sure, but there was like a website said this latest update had information that hinted at it, and then I think recently there was like at the Nintendo event they just held, there was like artwork that was the pose from Twilight Princess, but a new Link model. So it's like, what's this new Link model? Why is it doing the Twilight Princess pose? HD confirmed.
Oh. Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about Twilight Heroes. Um,
Oh man, I can't wait for Twilight Heroes.
Same. The one thing I did want to reference with Triforce Heroes is I remember reading like articles right before the game came out that like Nintendo kind of wanted to cater more towards a female audience with this one and just like kind of reach out to that target audience more. And I didn't realize how like hardcore they were going to take that to heart with like even the main storyline and all that. Like the plot of that game all like revolves around like a fashion kingdom and stuff like that. And I actually like I know some people are probably gonna be like, oh, it's dumb or whatever. And like the area of the game where all the dungeons and stuff are is called like the Drablands, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cheesy. But like, I actually really appreciate that coming from Nintendo because as much as like we can shit on Nintendo for being behind in like hardware stuff and like some other things, like they actually tend to care about stuff like who plays their games and respecting their audience a little bit more than some other companies do. And I thought like that was a nice honest effort on their part to reach out to an audience that often feels uncared for. So that was cool. Good job,
I
Nintendo.
agree. I definitely agree that it's good that they had that in mind. I'm a little I don't know. I'm a little weary whenever it's like we're gonna try to appeal to a female audience. Clothes, fashion,
Yeah,
puppies. It's like all right, like maybe girls just like Zelda, so maybe you could just have some more options in there, but you don't need to make it like the fashion Zelda. But
yeah.
on the other hand, I like costumes on my characters, so I'll put Link in a Zelda dress. I'm cool with that.
Actually, that was something a friend was talking about. It's like they really should have just let you play as Zelda.
You think?
You know, like if you want to reach a female art, like you give the option to play as a girl. You know what I mean? Like you might as well put that
No,
in there.
we need two different colored links and two different colored toads.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Uh,
They tried so hard
baby
and got
steps.
so far. Yeah, yeah, baby steps. Um, oh my gosh. Actually, speaking of Triforce Heroes, did you see that thing where like people got really bent out of shape because for their translation they like referenced the dog meme in the American version?
Oh yeah, I did.
That
What
was
do you think about
fucking
that?
okay. So my thing is like, sure, that's dumb, and in Okay, so this is how I feel about translation stuff, because like this has been happening, it seems, very frequently with various translations for various things. If it's an actual compelling story that's like supposed to be taken serious, like I want the translation to be like 100% faithful. If it's something that's like goofy and the story doesn't really matter, I don't think it's great because like for the thing of the dog meme, like wow, that's just kind of stupid, but like that doesn't bother me as much as it would if it was, say, like a Final Fantasy game or something, because it's like this is just like a goofy little game where like the plot doesn't really matter. So like I can let it slide, but like I would rather it not be there, you know? Like the European version, they didn't have that at all, which I think is fucking hilarious that it was just the American one.
Yeah. I think I think people sometimes forget too that Zelda as a series, like it always is goofy. Like
Yeah.
this is the series that has like Tingle and weird clown people and flamboyant carpenters. Like it's a silly series and memes. I can understand people being hesitant about them because of their nature, but it's harmless.
Yeah. Um Nintendo's been really fucking weird with some stuff like that recently. Like I don't know if you're subscribed to the Nintendo of America YouTube page or if you saw this, but like the Fatal Frame 5 launch trailer came out and it was titled Fatal Frame 5 Extremely Spoopy Trailer. And I was just like,
I
Nintendo,
saw
what are you doing?
honestly, I feel like this is gonna be more of a trend of like social media of companies being like that, and I chalk it
Yeah.
all up to Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know what? I was thinking that too. Because that was
Yeah,
so damn successful. The Dark Souls Twitter's gotten on that shit too, where every other fucking tweet from the Dark Souls Twitter is giant dad shit now. Um, which I love, but still.
yeah,
um, but like, yeah, I see. My thing is I'm fine with that if it's just social media stuff. I hope it doesn't leak too hard into the games. Like, I'm happy with a good dumb reference every now and again. Like, when that one Scribblenauts game came out and like you could summon the NeoGaf logo, I thought that was fucking hilarious. Um, but like, I just hope like we don't get like the next Fire Emblem localized or whatever, and like they're talking about like Shia LaBeouf, don't let your dreams be dreams shit or something. I don't know.
my God, that
Um,
that would be really bad.
that would be, cause like the Triforce Heroes things like that came out and people got really mad and I'm like, okay, this is kind of dumb to get mad over, guys. But like at the same time, it's like if I had the option of it not being there, I would rather it not be there, you know? But like it didn't piss me off, like that sort of thing. Um yeah, like it kind of I'm kind of shocked that so many people were actually bothered by it, but I guess some people care more about accurate translation stuff.
Eh, they
Even
probably shouldn't play Final Fantasy 14 then because that translation is filled with memes and references.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think it really does depend on the context of what the game is, what the line is about, and like how serious the moment is. I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to how appropriate something like that is. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Have you been playing anything else recently, or just been going
uh,
through good old Majora's Mask again?
well, other than like I said, Final Fantasy 14, that's kind of been it for me. I've been busy with other things. I did start a new file in Shin Megami Tensei 4, but I don't have anything to talk about with that. So
I've never heard of that video game.
yeah, it. I don't think you would have. I don't see why you should
Yeah,
have heard that about that game.
good times. Um,
Jokes.
hey. No. Uh, Neither of us played any horror games, damn. Well, I guess Majora's Mask
Yeah.
is extremely spooky. It is so right.
Oh man, I'm scared just playing it.
Yeah.
I have been playing. I need to start a new file in Bloodborne, but I don't know if that counts as horror either. It's got horror themes, I guess.
Now that I have a job, like my goal by the end of the year is to get a PS4 with like a copy of Bloodborne. So
Do it. Bloodborne's so good.
I, I need to play it.
The
Um,
DLC is coming out this month, and I'm so excited.
you know what? Actually, I was looking into that because I'm kind of upset that we don't get a Game of the Year edition. Because like I can just buy the game and then buy the DLC. It doesn't matter. But like,
Oh, we are.
oh, we are.
Yeah, there's gonna be an edition that comes with the DLC.
Oh, I thought that was Europe only.
I think that like collector's edition is Europe only. I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Hopefully.
could be wrong about this.
Oh no.
Don't
Um.
kill me. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, be,
No,
because
I believe. Yeah, I believe we are getting it.
okay, because I looked into it and someone had said that it was like European only, so I was like, oh, but
I was under
whatever.
the impression that that was the collector's edition, but don't quote me on it.
Okay. I mean, whenever it's time to go out and buy it, I'll know. So even like if I have to buy the DLC, it's no big deal because it's like I think it's only like $20, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. And also, from what I understand, it's gonna have a lot of content for that price.
Yeah, like
I think,
I've heard
yeah.
him say like they wanted to make it bigger than the Artorias DLC, which was already pretty damn good,
Well,
content
if what I
wise.
read was oh yeah, if what I read was true, then it was actually originally going to be two DLCs that they just combined it together, and like they're calling it an expansion. So
That's really damn cool, actually.
yeah.
Maybe it's just because I haven't been following it as closely, but we don't seem to know much about what it's about, even, which I think is really cool. They've been pretty silent about it, haven't they?
They've told us like the basic premise
Yeah,
that like it starts out that you're going into like the hidden nightmare of the old hunters, but that's all we know. Like we don't know what we're gonna find in there, and we don't know where that'll eventually take us.
so yeah, that'll be a thing. I'm actually like, Bloodborne's only like $40 right now, so then that plus the DLC, it's like, hey, it's like the price of a full game anyways. So, that's definitely gonna be my first PS4 purchase because it's fucking Bloodborne. Everyone, I've never heard any bad things about that game so far. So, uh,
It's it honestly it might be my game of the year. I'm not sure. I got to think about it, but it might be.
okay. I'm excited to get my hands on it and finally play it. Like I've already watched a fucking playthrough of it, and I'm like, okay, that was solid. But like,
All right.
the act of playing through it myself, it makes all the difference. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. But I guess we can move on to some news stuff. So we only have two real news stories that we decided to filter through our extremely high standards of talking about the news, I guess. No, no, not really. This is just two stuff that we thought we could make a good conversation out of. We actually flipped a coin to determine which one to talk about first, but so the first story that we thought we should talk about here is the NX development kits have been popping into people's hands as of late, it seems like. And word on the street is that it appears to be. This was a lot of speculation, but it appears to finally be confirmed, or at least all but confirmed, that the NX is going to be a console handheld hybrid.
Silence is the
Yeah.
correct response to that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that.
I don't either.
I
I
mean, I guess it's like when you look at the Wii U, I can kind of see how that would be an evolution of that, but I still don't know how it's gonna work.
we've never had one before, Like
Yeah.
like that's what I'm wondering is like, is it gonna be like a Wii U, or like is it gonna be like a handheld that like you can plug into the TV and like it works like how's this gonna work? I'm really curious to see the details on this thing because I feel like if done right, this could be like really damn cool, but if done horribly wrong, it could be really bad. Uh, I just
I
hope,
mean,
because like, are they gonna kill the 3DS to let this thing be the next handheld? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
well, they're sort of at a position now where like the Wii U is still kind of new, but it's been out for a couple years. The 3DS had the new 3DS, but I feel like they've kind of already abandoned the idea of putting exclusive games on that.
Xenoblade was still the only one. I can't believe because I remember when the new 3DS was announced, I was pissed because it's like I'm not gonna get one of those, and also I'm gonna miss out on all these exclusive games. And then I ended up feeling pretty great because the only exclusive game was a port of a Wii game. So, whatever.
I mean, I mean, from what I understand, the 3DS has been doing really, really well,
Yeah.
but it has been out for a while, so I can kind of see them hoping to like capture their portable success on a console by making them the same thing.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting. It's definitely Nintendo has always been the company to I mean, I hate to use this word because it's been used as like an insult, but they have always tried to do like since the Wii, there's been a gimmick for each of their consoles or systems or anything.
Yeah, they that's kind of been a frustration of mine because it's like I and actually it was a frustration of mine I could say, but I don't feel like at this point I feel like they've gone too far in that direction that I don't want them to go backwards anymore, I don't think. Cuz I feel like for the sake of like consumer interest, I actually think it's better for Nintendo to kind of always be doing their own thing now, and Sony and Microsoft can just duke it out doing their thing.
I absolutely
Because
agree. Yeah.
I feel like because as much as like I'm I think about all the times and it's like okay sometimes I play like a Nintendo game or like a thing on a Nintendo system and it's like oh now I have to fucking waggle the thing or now I have to do the stupid thing, but I would go through so much of that shit just for the fact that like we get so many interesting games out of that, like Wonderful 101 and all that, and I mean all of the games that have used the gamepad to its advantage, which I guess not many seem to have, but like Zombie U was a thing.
Yeah. And from what I understand, people didn't really like I haven't heard anyone talk about the like PS4 or whatever port of that game. Everyone was just like, the Wii U one had cool gamepad stuff, so I'll stick with that one.
Yeah, yeah, like I feel like Nintendo kind of just always having like a gimmicky thing and being kind of in their own realm, and like they're technically a competitor, but they're more so doing their own thing and kind of out of the fray a little bit. I think that's going to lead to more interesting games from them in the long run, and I kind of hope that they continue going that direction. But hopefully they find a bigger audience, because that's the problem with the Wii U is that they tried to cash in again on the Wii audience that was there, but the problem with that is that cell phone games kind of became a thing, and also the fact that it was called the Wii U led to a lot of confusion.
Oh my
um,
god. That's fire whoever names your consoles Nintendo, please.
I want a new 3DS.
Please don't. You don't understand that like
Does that actually happen? I'm curious.
at at GameStop
Yes.
there has been a lot. I've had to explain to very confused parents the difference between all the
Okay.
3DSs.
Okay, that's why I wanted to ask, because for people that don't know, Zach works there, so.
Yeah, I'm a GameStop employee, and there has been many confused parents that didn't understand why there's three different systems with radically, well, not radically, but just very slightly different names in what they did and what they didn't do.
Good job, Nintendo.
2DS, come on.
Yeah. Um. Oh god. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, NX has a better name. Uh. See, like at least PlayStation's like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Bam. Good job. And like Microsoft and Nintendo have been like, fuck. Well, we can't do that because we'll always be behind in numbers. So
Oh man, I honestly, wh- why is it codenamed the NX again? Is it because it's the 10th generation, or
I have no idea.
yeah,
There's
I never
probably
really looked
there's
into that.
probably a really good reason that neither of us know.
Yeah, probably.
Remember when the Wii was called the Revolution?
I do.
And then and then it's like it's called the Wii, and everyone was like, "Oh,
I still maintain they should have stuck with Revolution.
Revolution sounded so cool.
It did,
It sounded so cool."
and it
Um,
made sense. It's like because motion controls were Revolution.
yeah,
Well,
like, and then it's like,
Revolution. I don't know, but still,
yeah, it was different. um,
yeah,
if they had worked as good as we were promised, it would have been a Revolution.
yeah.
And then it became a lot of waggling, but we got no more heroes out of it, so
Yes, we did,
yeah, and
and also some Zelda.
yeah, that's true. We got Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword, I think, gets a little bit more hate than I think it deserves.
Skyward Sword has a lot of problems, but I still legitimately love it as a game.
It's really good. I should beat
Yeah.
it.
So like a not anywhere near my favorite Zelda game, but it was a good Zelda game.
It's a solid entry.
Yeah, it yeah, it's a solid entry.
I
Story is really good.
I feel really bad because I got super far into that game and then I watched the ending and like the final boss and I'm like, man, that was really cool. Oh, I don't feel like beating it anymore. but I enjoyed it for what it
It's
was.
the only console Zelda game that I've only ever beaten once.
Oh, really?
I've started it several times again, and I'm always like, yeah, I'll play Twilight Princess or Wind Waker
Maybe next November.
maybe next
Yeah.
November.
So yeah, I don't have any more thoughts really on the NX. Like, God, it's gonna be weird. The only thing that I can think of, and this is, I think, probably thinking about it way too hard, but Dragon Quest XI, when that was first revealed, the whole gimmick with that is that uh, the 3DS version has this thing where you can play it either as like a sprite-based traditional Super Nintendo style game, or you can play with the 3D graphics. And then the PlayStation 4 version has like just like the nice HD 3D graphics. So what I almost wonder, because the only game currently that we know of is being made for NX is Dragon Quest XI. So what I wonder is, what if like if you play the console version of Dragon Quest XI on the NX, you play it like it's a PS4 version, and when you play it like on the handheld form, you play it like the 3DS version where you can switch back and forth. Like that would be cool. But
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. You know, it'll
I
be
mean,
weird.
Nintendo's credit, a lot of people get like upset, like, oh, why you always gotta do weird things? But like, at least they bring like an excitement of like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Who knows what they're gonna do?
And also too, like when those gimmicks work well or like to their advantage, I think they work really well. Like I remember when the DS came out and I was a dumb little kid, I was like, why does it have two screens? But then like you get stuff like Phantom Hourglass like making you shut the DS to stamp something. And like it's like nice little dumb touches like that that made the whole two screen thing worth it. Or even like I played a little bit of The World Ends With You, and like that uses the two screen thing really well too. So
Yeah, it it's interesting. It's different. I like having the variety.
yeah, same. Like for every two screens, we do get like one really shitty 3D, but but like I don't know. I hope that they continue in the direction of trying to innovate, even if they don't always get where they want. As long as it works like half the time, I think I'll be fine with Nintendo still.
As long as I get a Zelda game, I'll be fine.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too, is as much as like I get frustrated over Nintendo's hardware stuff and like their refusal to modernize regarding some things, uh man, they make really damn good first party games.
Oh yeah, I as long as I've like been playing video games, I've known that there's always going to be a new Zelda eventually to look forward to. It's like a nice consistent. I'll always have an adventure in a couple of years to go on.
Yeah. Well,
And
I have to
Mario, fun platforming.
Mario's always fun. Like I'm
Yeah.
at a point with Mario where it's like, okay, I don't need to buy every single one anymore because it's kind of
Uh,
run together, but like buying every third or so is like, damn. That's my fix for a couple of years, you know. So
yeah. Mario 3D World was pretty fun.
yeah. Um I wanted to ask your opinion. Do you think that Zelda Wii U is going to turn out to be a cross-generation thing?
uh, I mean, at this point, it's like a 50-50 guess, but I don't feel like it will be now.
Do you think that's going to be like the swan song game for the Wii U?
I think they're gonna make it the swan song for the Wii U. Yeah,
Yeah.
like one last push to get some Wii U sales before they go full into the NX.
Yeah. Man, I really hope I don't even know if it's possible given how the hybrid thing works, but if they could make the NX Wii U backwards compatible, that would be super nice.
Wii U and 3DS backwards compatible, maybe.
Oh my God, that would be incredible actually. But
Yeah,
oh, that would be great, but that's probably too good to be true.
yeah. I mean, I was pretty shocked to learn that they still don't even have Majora's Mask on the Wii U eShop. So I'm not holding my breath for them to really get with the backwards compatibility stuff.
Yeah.
Meaning, I should explain that more. Like they had it on the Wii eShop, and then they're like, "We'll bring all that over slowly," and it's like, they're doing that. All right, I should probably not get too excited about stuff. Then,
Yeah, and that's I guess that's our Nintendo hour. It wasn't even an hour, but
uh,
um on the other end of the spectrum, You know what's the opposite of Nintendo? Emotions, I guess. So, David Cage announced a new game. That was the best segue I've ever made in my life.
It was
No,
pretty emotional.
it was pretty emotional. It's not sci-fi though. But there was a Paris showing event for or like a gaming event thing that I never even knew was a thing until people were literally tweeting about it. And we got some trailers for some games. Like I think Horizon got a trailer. I don't know what else was there. But they ended on a pretty high note. That was David Cage announcing his new awesome title, which is Detroit something something. I forgot
Detroit.
this. I forgot the subtitle, but the main title is Detroit. So that's the thing. It's about a robot girl, and
It's not sci-fi though.
it's not sci-fi though. David Cage.
Don't call it sci-fi.
David Cage was really adamant that we not call it science fiction. It's not. I don't know what it is, but
It's a motion fiction.
I guess so. So yeah, Dave, this is actually a lot of people are really excited, which I honestly do not like David Cage at all. Like I think he's just a shit writer. Um I have witnessed full playthroughs of Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, and Beyond Two Souls, and I feel like the problem with all of those games is David Cage himself. Like I feel like if any other writer did those games, they probably would have turned out better. But that said, from what I hear, he's not the only person writing this one. Like apparently he's co-writing it with another dude who works at Quantic Dream. So who knows how that's gonna turn out? Maybe he'll be able to rein him in a little bit and not have really weird shit thrown in there. Um, but who knows? But yeah, like I don't know. David Cage's games always review pretty well. Like they're always pretty well received, but like a lot of the internet, especially like the side of the internet that we're on, like just definitely shits all over them. And it's been kind of curious seeing all the different reactions to this new Detroit reveal. Um, I don't know. Like I don't particularly like David Cage, but I guess I do want to say the first time I ever witnessed any David Cage thing was when Heavy Rain came out, and I had a friend who just like showed me the entirety of that game all in one sitting, uh, and that was a fucking trip. Um, I don't know how else to describe it, but like it was like my friend's like, "Yo, you need to check out this new game. It's called Heavy Rain. It's the best thing ever." And we went into his really creepy basement and turned off all the lights and made popcorn. And we just sat there and fucking went through all of Heavy Rain. And man, that is the most appropriate way to go through that game. But yeah, just whenever you can play Heavy Rain in a creepy basement, everyone. But Zach, how did you feel about Detroit? Not the city.
Not the city. I've never been to the city. As for the game, my history with David Cage is a little hit or miss. I played Indigo Prophecy and I thought it started really, really strong, and then like around halfway that game gets just dumb.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is like the first hat or like yeah, like the first bit of Indigo Prophecy is probably like the legitimately best thing he's made ever.
Yeah,
It's pretty solid.
it's a really solid like first half of a game. I mean, it's got some dumb things in it too, but at least the opening bit is pretty. I don't want to say intense, but it's
It's
interesting.
engaging.
Yeah, and then I did play like an hour or two of Heavy Rain and just got like really really bored. Um, Never played Beyond Two Souls because I knew what it would be, and I knew it wouldn't be what I wanted it to be, so I didn't really bother. As for Detroit, I'm I have a huge soft spot for androids and like robot stories and like robots having emotions and androids being all humanized. So that appeals to me a lot. And it's also science fiction, and I like science fiction. But I'm not excited for it because I don't trust David Cage to write it well.
Someone I saw someone on Twitter say this or whatever, and it's like the problem with this game is I just don't trust David Cage writing any women ever, and I'm like, yeah, he's like
Hmm.
he's pretty spotty about some things, and I don't like because apparently there was like a little short thing that was based off of like I think it was called Kara or something, which is like the name of the main girl. That was like a tech demo before this was revealed or whatever. I don't know how exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they talk. The first I heard about that was when he announced Detroit. I hadn't heard of it beforehand,
Neither had
but
I.
yeah,
I like
apparently that's a thing.
I still haven't seen it, but I heard someone say like there's like a point in that trailer where it's like, oh, people might want to use robots for creepy sex things, and I'm like, oh God, that better not be a thing in the game. But I know it's gonna be a thing in
That
the game,
that will be a thing in the game.
and that's I'm
I mean,
not looking
that's not
forward to
original,
that.
but
Yeah,
it's not like an original plot, but you know
yeah,
that would happen. It would happen. So,
yeah.
all right. But yeah, no. I mean, at some point, there's got to be at least one awkward sex scene in this game anyway, because it's David
It's
Cage.
David
But
Cage. Yeah,
hopefully, we don't have to play that. Please,
QT.
please don't make me play that.
Thrust the right analog stick.
No.
Um. Oh boy. So yeah, that's the thing. It's so weird because like I feel like the premise of every single like one of those games is like I could see that being a really fun interactive adventure game, but like it's just the writing itself of all of the like the scenarios are really strong. It's just like the actual core writing is not good. And that's what kind of makes everything fall apart. So that's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully it gets better as time goes on, but
I
I don't
mean,
know.
it like I said, it's a subject matter that interests me, so
Yeah.
I might check out Detroit, but I'm definitely not at full price. I'll check. It'll be a solid purchase when it's $20.
Yeah. No, see, if only like I have another friend who said like I want David Cage to keep making games simply because at least they make for really entertaining playthroughs on YouTube and stuff and like Let's Plays because his games always turn out unintentionally fucking hilarious in one way, shape, or form. So, if anything, no matter the quality of the game, at least we can probably laugh at it if it's dumb. So, that's
Yep.
good.
And also, we'll feel emotions.
Yeah. Um, God, he started the whole like conference thing off by pretty much saying emotions right away, and like I still can't tell if like that was on purpose or not, but like I feel like it has to be, you know, like he has to know by now
I don't know. I don't know if it would be better if he does know or if he doesn't know.
because like everyone on the internet like just associates the word like yeah, just emotions David Cage. They're like hand in hand, and I wonder if he knows that. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming you saw a while back that presentation he did with the old man's face.
No,
Oh, you never saw that?
I don't think I did.
I forget where it
This
was at.
sounds familiar, but I
It was
don't
like
think
when
I
the
did.
PS4 was. It was either when the PS4 was announced or just coming out. He like got on stage and showed like just like a CGI mold of a man's face and spent like 10 minutes talking about how you could tell all of the emotions he has because of how many polygons are in the face. And like that really like kickstarted the emotions thing into full gear because it's like it was literally him for at least 5 minutes, just like he said emotions so many times, and he was just so adamant about how you can tell the emotions he felt because of all those polygons.
If anything, I enjoy his stupidly high passion. It's
Yeah,
great.
he honestly he believes what he says.
I know, and that's so fucked up but funny.
It's more entertaining than like the CEOs who come out and talk about how the new innovation of game, like at least he seems like honest.
He was brutally honest to the point of like when fucking whenever he talked about Ellen Page, it was getting creepy, you know? Like he doesn't have the self-awareness enough to like rein himself in and like he'll just say whatever and it's like, "Oh my God." Like sometimes it feels like he needs to be stopped, but no one is there to stop him. So like you get shit like him talking about how he has like pictures of Ellen Page on his desk or some shit, and
Oh my
like
god, I didn't know about that.
it was something like that. Like he was like, oh, I have pictures of Ellen Page on my desk during the development, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
It was something like that. It was like really fucking like creepy. Oh jeez. So yeah, that's the thing. Detroit. Everyone look forward to it. Coming to a PlayStation 4 near you. I don't know. Is it coming to Xbox One? I don't.
I have no idea. Probably not. I don't think any of his games have they?
Was Beyond Two Souls multi-platform? It might have been. I don't
I don't
know.
I don't think so.
Oh no. Well, they're not technically first party, are they? I don't think they.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
Ah
Quantic
man, I don't
Dream.
know.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm gonna look this up real quick
Well, I
because I
mean, I
forgot
know
already.
Indigo Prophecy is on PC.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm looking this shit up because it's starting to bother me. Beyond Two Souls. Oh yeah, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation. Oh, apparently Beyond Two Souls is getting a PS4 port. Oh,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was announced in June.
Oh, man, that one flew right by me.
Same. Um, I could have sworn that came out for 360, but whatever. I'm just dumb.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, like, I wasn't confident enough to say it definitely didn't, but I was just thinking about, like, my job. I don't think I ever saw it on the 360 shelf.
yeah. So yeah, that's enough David Cage talk.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious to see how Detroit turns out. Man, what is it? I said something on Twitter, but like, what the fuck? What is it with games and like Detroit and robots? But then I realized, like, fuck, that's been a thing forever because like RoboCop, like
Yeah.
robots and Detroit just go hand in hand, I guess. And I don't get why. Oh well. Um. Okay, so I guess we can transition on to emails if you want. We got a solid four for our first episode. Reminder, everyone, if you want to email us in a question, doesn't even need to be about like games and stuff. It can just be about anything. Any question you have for us, you can send it to wearefinallyemail@gmail.com. Once again, that is wearefinallyemail@gmail.com. That will be available as a address in the description down below in case you want to get that. But yeah, so first one comes from Rinku Sensei, and he says, "Hey, Rasen is back from the dead." Um, Thanks. Um, anyway, I know you're a fan of stuff like Gundam and Eva, though it's not technically a mecha show, and I was wondering if you were into other series like Pat Labor or Macross. I'm pretty sure that's like Pat Labour or some shit, but I'm just looks like Pat Labor to me, so fuck it. Um, or or Macross. Anyways, good luck with the podcast. Not really. I mean, I like Code Geass, at least the first season. I like Gundam. I like Eva. To be honest, I'm not even really that particularly attached to the mecha genre. It's just that a lot of the shows I ended up being interested in happen to be mecha shows as well. So, yeah, I want to check out Space Runaway Ideon at some point and Votoms. Uh, but really, that's it. I don't really particularly have an attachment to the genre, I guess. It's just, it happens to also interest me. So, that's the thing. Zach, you have any mecha anime recommendations?
Not too much. I'm kind of in the same boat where like I've definitely dabbled in Gundam. I'm trying to get more into Gundam. I started like from the beginning,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to work my way through that. I had previously seen like I watched like the first season of Double O, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
So like I had experience, but I'm trying to slowly work my way through like the classic stuff. And other than that, I watched Code Geass back in the day as well. Just mecha's never really been my genre, although sometimes I'll just get in the mood for it.
Yeah, I remember getting into Code Geass just because I had heard so much of it from a friend, and I didn't even realize it was a mecha show until like suddenly robots appeared, and I was like, "Oh, I guess this also has giant robots in it." That was a good
Yeah,
time.
it's definitely not one of the selling points of the show, I think.
Yeah, no, it was really funny because like I haven't watched Code Geass since I was young, and like my girlfriend never finished it, so we decided to go through and watch it together, and like. Man, we got a ways in, and then it's like, okay, we can't do this anymore.
Does it
Um,
hold up?
it season one still does, but like, it's not as good as when you're young, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, when you're older, it's less impressive, I guess. But I guess that's true for a lot of things. One thing, both of us remember the English dub of that show being really good. Yeah. Mm. It's pretty.
No.
No, it was.
Oh, but Karen Strassman's in it.
Yeah, she's pretty good actually, but like
I like her.
everyone else, not super strong. Lelouch especially was really bad, and I not like
Really?
yeah, because
Oh man.
I was like, oh, Lelouch was really great when I was a kid, and then rewatching it now, it's like, ooh, that's not good. But
I remember thinking he was okay in the dub, but like there's no way his Japanese voice actor could have been topped.
yeah, no, he's great, and now he's the Persona 5 Phantom, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like it's a good show, and I recommend checking out Code Geass if you haven't seen it before. It's just like one of those cases of remembering it being better than it actually was, I think, for both me and her. So we never ended up finishing it, but whatever.
It's definitely one of the shows that like I got really into it when I was younger, so I kind of think
Same.
I'll probably never watch it because I know I wouldn't like it as much as when I was like a stupid teenager.
Like that and Death Note were like they filled the same like
Yeah, for sure.
area.
Although, I have a friend who recently rewatched Death Note, and he said that held up. I don't know if I would feel the same, but according to him, it holds up. So,
I can see that. Like see the thing with Code Geass and Death Note is they both kind of just take a shit towards the second half. And I feel like Code Geass's is really bad and Death Note's is more like super underwhelming and not bad, you know? Like
I have even back then I had some serious problems with the second half of Death Note.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like some like the writing gets pretty.
They
I don't
take
want to
some
say bad, but
they take some really damn big logic leaps at time.
it got honestly I thought I mean I don't want to get too much into this, but I felt like it got boring because the characters were like too smart.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like at least like Lionel had I felt like they had flaws in the beginning somewhat. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was a stupid teenager. I don't know what I'm talking about.
no, I could see that though. Like, cause that's what I mean though. Is like there are times in the second season where it's like I don't follow any of these characters' logic at all. They're just solving shit now, and I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck you came up with that, but I guess you were right. No, cause like the thing with Code Geass is like the second season is like bad, but then like the ending is like, oh, that ending's really cool, and then like a week later you think more about the ending and it's like, oh, that doesn't actually make sense. Um, but then like Death Note like just kind of underwhelmed me, and I was like, oh, um, like it didn't. I like Death Note's like second half was bad, but not as bad to me when I was young. I don't know. I haven't seen these since I was like super young either, I guess, and whatever. But yeah, it's really weird though because those came out around the same time and kind of had the similar thing going on, like at least thematically, with like smart kid with the like special power and changes the world within stuff. Man, that was really generic sounding. That pretty much covers every fucking show ever. But
Well, they were edgy with it.
they were edgy, and also they really tried to play up like the strategy and
Oh my god.
like the chess master aspect of it.
Code Geass, rather literally.
Yeah, actually, really like too literally.
Really, really, really heavy with it.
Actually, you want to know? I definitive reason why Death Note's second half is better than Code Geass's second half. Death Note doesn't shove Pizza Hut in your face every 5 seconds. Oh my god, I fucking love that. That was so dumb. That was
I
the
forgot about that.
that was the best worst product placement in anything ever. There's a part where there's a military monitor and it has a Pizza Hut logo on it, and I don't know why, and
God.
I it made me so happy. Because that's so
Wow.
stupid. Like, that actually improved my opinion of that show. Because it was so gratuitous.
Pizza Hut.
Good times.
You know what? Oh my god. You know what's the worst thing about that? Pretty
What?
sure that worked on me as a kid.
Oh no!
I remember, well, I think it. I was probably more like a teenager. I remember being like, oh man, you know what? I like Code Geass. I'm gonna get some Pizza Hut. And I don't really like Pizza Hut.
I don't either.
Aw,
But, but
I feel bad now.
it's okay. It all worked. I probably bought some. God, I don't remember what there was. Croc 2 for the PS1 had some fucking product placement going on, and I'm pretty sure that worked on me as a kid. So don't feel bad. Um,
At least the product placement in Oddworld Munch's Odyssey never got me.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I buy bags of Doritos every week because of Peace Walker.
Fair enough.
I love that because according to the Metal Gear canon, Big Boss invented Doritos and Axe body spray. So that's a thing. Um, anyways, no, that I can't believe this all stemmed from a fucking email about mecha stuff. Anyways, so yeah, thanks, Rinku. So this email's from John, and he says, "Why did you name the podcast We Are Finally Podcast? Did you not did you not think of the annoying puns? Sure, now it is just wow, you're finally making a new podcast, but every episode will be yes, finally there's a new episode, and you will never say finally people have stopped making that joke because they never will. The joke will never end. So what does the We Are Finally podcast name even mean? The WAFP acronym is pretty good though. I named it We Are Finally Podcast because me and my friends were trying to think of dumb podcast names. And as a joke, I said We Are Finally Podcast because of the No More Heroes song called We Are Finally Cowboys. And then we all paused and were like, actually, that's not too bad. So, so that's how WAFP came to be. Uh, yeah, it's just a dumb No More Heroes reference. That's really about it.
And now we finally have an answer for the question. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you.
we're here till Thursday.
I
Um,
work I worked on that for a very long time.
it's okay.
I did not.
It's okay. I thought of a Halloween pun like 10 days ago, and I had to remember it so I could like call my sister and tell her it today. So not as pathetic as I. Um,
I didn't actually work on that for a long time. Just to put that out there.
just to defend your honor.
Listen, I'm good at jokes, all right? Don't make fun of me. I'm very sensitive.
It's okay. Okay. Thanks, John. Anyway, so okay, so this is from Ultimate Trader, and he wants to know how would you improve the combat of Devil May Cry Past 4 Special Edition? Have you ever played? Are you familiar with Devil May Cry, Zach?
I've played a bit of Devil May Cry in my time.
Uh, hmm. I would say, God, I don't have any specific ideas really. The only thing I have to really say is I feel like 5 should be made so that it doesn't even require a special edition. Like just put Virgil and like all the extra like playable characters in there as bonus modes from the start. I don't think we should go with the re-release option anymore. Uh, it wouldn't make sense to just have a game where you only play as Dante. Please still let us play as Nero because I liked playing as Nero. Actually, what I would do, keep Dante pretty much the same as he was in 4. Like obviously change him up in some ways a little bit just because it's a sequel. But expand Virgil, Nero, and if they're in Trish and Lady so that they're as complex of characters as like Dante is. Because like playing DMC 4, it's like wow, so much effort was spent on Dante compared to everyone else in that game, and sometimes it feels a little weird. But that's honestly my only real thing with that. Like God, I really like DMC4 a lot, but the one problem with that game, aside from that, is the level design was just not great. But that's less of a combat system complaint and more of like a level design complaint. So hopefully 5 doesn't have as bad of levels though.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have a lot of complaints with the combat in that series. I even like the combat in DMC a bit. I know that it wasn't as deep, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
it's a pretty like it does its job, you know? Like
yeah, I like Devil May Cry a lot. I've never been like super legit pro at it. So
neither have I.
I can pull off some cool combos, I can get some high rankings, but I'm never gonna be like I'm not the people you see on YouTube pulling off all the greatest like perfect string of combos.
You're
So
not the kid with the angry like white people music playing in the background that's getting like super duper triple S ranks while like the hardcore screamo stuff is going on in the back.
as much as I wish I was, unfortunately no.
No, I'm not
Um
either.
yeah. But yeah, I mean I agree with everything you said. Just flesh out the characters. Don't just make Dante. Um and I'm good.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm a Devil May Cry casual. I'm probably not qualified to answer this question.
I am too. I'm not particularly great. I can play the game and not die, and It's about as far as I can go. um,
I can play some of the higher difficulties, but not the highest.
I actually don't know if I've ever tried the heist in 3 or 4. I should probably do that one of these days. But
I've tried it. I didn't beat it.
see, my thing with Devil May Cry is whenever I want to play it, I just go right for Bloody Palace because I just want to like pop in then pop out. I don't want to actually play the single player part too often. Um, like I'll play it to unlock Bloody Palace, and that's about it. Uh,
I've played through three a good handful of times. I played through four twice, I think.
yeah, it's like three definitely. There's a case for 3 being the best one by far. I think. It really sucks that 4 really feels unfinished. Even the special edition, it's like, man, that like the fact that the second half of the game is just backtracking through the first set of levels is quite the bummer.
It didn't bother me too much, but yeah, I it could have been more.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think that answers that well enough. Yeah, thanks, Ultimate Trainer. So, one more email we're gonna take. So this is from Crisis, and it says, "Hello, we are finally. It's Crisis here. Glad to see Rasen has a new podcast running. Definitely excited to hear more episodes in the future. Anyways, to get into questions, what are some video game series or even shows and such that you wanted to get into recently but just never did?" Well, I guess recently for me, on the request of many, many people, actually Crisis being one of them, I tried really hard to get into Phoenix Wright, and I just didn't care for any of the games, sadly. Like, I can see why people enjoy them a lot, it's just they didn't really click with me. So I didn't end up really giving that series like a full chance. Like, I got pretty far into the first game, but then I just kind of realized it wasn't my thing. Kind of similarly, because it's a like I guess it's sort of similar, like genre wise and whatnot, but not the same. Danganronpa, I just couldn't really get invested into. I didn't find the writing particularly great. Like I enjoy Danganronpa 2 because it has a lot of the really neat things with fucking with expectations and messing things up from what you expect with the sequel. And I thought that was really, really neat actually, and I enjoyed that a lot. But other than that, I didn't end up caring for Danganronpa 1 or 2 all that much. At least compared to other people. Like I think they're okay. It's just like I never really got attached to them. And like Danganronpa 1, I've been familiar with because back in the day there was a Something Awful Let's Play that kind of got the series a Western audience a little bit before the games even were translated. And I was following that, and I was like, okay, this is a neat little thing. And then by the time that finished up, I was like, oh, that was all right, I guess. And then, sure enough, like they got officially translated, and then I kind of went back and just watched full playthroughs of both of them. And yeah, they aren't really my thing, I don't think. So yeah, mostly like VN style investigation stuff, I guess, like Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright. I want to give 999 a chance, and I actually feel like that's going to be the one that finally I like because I've always had more interest in the Zero Escape games and their premise. Like, I guess that sort of thing appeals to me more than either Danganronpa or Phoenix Wright. So whenever I get around to 999, hopefully that's the one that convinces me that I like some things in that genre. So yeah, those two.
For me, I think the most obvious one that I can think of right now is Monster Hunter. Um, I've got a couple of friends in a Monster Hunter, and they've tried to get me into the series a few times, and I've tried out two games in the series, and both times I just couldn't get into it. It seemed like I don't want to say boring or bland because I know some people love it, but it definitely just wasn't for me. Like I would play it and I would hunt some monsters and just feel like I could be doing that in a different game with more things that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I've played a bit of Monster Hunter 4, and like I should give that game more of a shot. And I enjoyed what I played of it, but I can definitely Monster Hunter is definitely not for everyone. Especially too like there are people that like if you say like, "Oh, I've played 60 hours of Monster Hunter," they'll be like, "What the fuck? That's nothing, you baby." And it's like, "Oh my God." Like those games are fucking time investments too. So, those are definitely games that I can see not being for everyone. Apparently
Yeah.
Japan loves the shit out of those games though, so
I mean, I've got a friend who loves it, and he wants me to try the newer one, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't get into the one on the Wii, and I didn't get into the one on the PSP, so I think I'm just not into that series at all.
yeah, it's I know the PSP one is particularly not great, but I'd say if you didn't care for the one on Wii, chances are I don't see you liking the newer ones either. Like they make it more accessible, but at the same time, like if you don't care for the core gameplay formula type stuff going on, I don't see that changing with playing the newest one, you know? So, yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, I also completely different series, but I also tried out a Soul Sacrifice on the Vita, and I couldn't get into that either. So I definitely just think like the whole monster hunting genre, where it's like just straight like hunt the monster, fight the boss battle, like that doesn't really grab me as much.
I didn't even realize that's what that game was until now.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like
It's just a
boss
hunting
fights.
game? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, no, because I've always wanted to try out Soul Sacrifice Delta because I knew that was like a good Vita game, and I actually never knew that was just a hunting game.
I mean, it's
Huh.
structured a bit differently, but yeah, you basically just like select the boss you want to fight, and then you fight it.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. Um, yeah, so that answers that, I guess. Then second question, if we have time, we certainly do. Fuck it, it's our show. We have all the time we want. Um, how did you guys get into gaming, and what game did you play first, and which one was the first to actually get you hooked? So, I think I've said this on other places, so this might be old to some people, but when I was a little kid, like around like 5 years old, I want to say was the age. Uh, Cousin introduced me to video games with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, and that was the greatest introduction to gaming I think anyone could have asked for. Just back to back, both of those games really impressed the hell out of me. And then like I said something to my parents about it, and they're like, "Oh, we have one of those in the basement." So I went downstairs, and turns out we had a Nintendo Entertainment System from I think even before I was born, like just kind of hanging out in there. So I got really good at Mario 1, and I grew up with an NES a little bit until I could afford to buy a Nintendo 64. So I actually never really had a Super Nintendo as a kid because I had the NES when the Nintendo 64 was a thing. Then I just got the Nintendo 64 and then went from there. Um, but yeah, that was kind of my introduction is going from Super Mario 64 and Ocarina to just the classics. So yeah.
That sounds like a pretty solid introduction.
Yeah, I honestly think that that introduction is part of the reason I'm so invested into video games as I am now. It had that big of an impact on me. So yeah.
For myself, honestly, the earliest I can remember is Sonic the Hedgehog, like the original. Um, my family just had a Genesis. I was like so young, I couldn't even play it properly. Like I've been gaming for as long as I can remember. So like I played Mario, Zelda. It's just always been part of my life, I guess.
It's really curious I always think about this is what kids are gonna grow up with now or nowadays or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, like so many kids are growing up with like Five Nights at Freddy's and like Minecraft, and it's like, oh, I just want to hand those kids a Game Boy so bad, but they'd probably be really bored. And that makes me sad.
Well, I mean, it's that interesting situation where like when we were kids, our parents were probably like, "No, no, you've got to check out this thing,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "No, I want to do this thing." I mean, I wow, good, I nailed it.
It's all good.
Okay, but yeah, I feel yeah, that's just always like a generational thing that everyone's like, oh man, the new generation doesn't know how good we had it back in our generation.
You guys don't know about DOS games, they say as they look at our NESs.
That being said, though, I feel like with like Virtual Console and PS1 classics and also that kind of thing, they're at least available, and I definitely have seen like newer generations trying out those games.
Okay, hold on. So the TV's on in my room right now, and I just wanted to say there's this fucking Puzzle and Dragons and Pixels commercial back to back, and that makes me really sad. Anyways, carry on.
No, I don't think I can carry on after that.
Okay.
I've said all I have to say, to be honest with you. I just,
It just out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, is that Puzzle and Dragons? And then I turned my head again, then it was Pixels, and I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah.
that,
Thanks, video games. See, that's what convinces me to get out of video games. No.
yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Thanks, Adam Sandler.
I don't even want to play Zelda anymore.
I actually have never played Puzzle and Dragons. I don't even really know what it is. I just know it's a
Uh,
game on the phone.
I believe it involves puzzles.
And dragons.
Perhaps.
Maybe. So yeah, there's that. We're out of emails. I move all these to the garbage bin. Um, Yay.
We did it.
We did it, everyone. Emotions. Uh,
David Cage.
David Cage. Not sci-fi though. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed episode 2 of We Are Finally podcast. Yeah, have a happy Halloween. That's over now, and now it's November 1st, so never mind.
Have a happy November. And they won't even hear this on November 1st.
No, they won't. So, unless I really haul ass, but
Fuck it. Have a good day.
yeah, you deserve it. Bye.
Bye.